I want to thank Coca 2005 for sending me this story. Can you believe these white supremacists are now threatening to lynch the congresswoman for speaking out on how despicable he was in handling this widow, and she's pregnant and has two children? This is just unbelievable. It really is. You know, it's not shocking. It's the same group of people that have been despicable for centuries, and they are despicable now. And then they have the audacity to come to your post or come to your video and actually think that you are going to even listen to a fraction of what they have to say. Okay. Congresswoman who clashed with Trump over fallen soldier receives lynching threat. Federal authorities are investigating a man who posted a meme that suggested lynching Representative Frederica Wilson. The Democratic Congresswoman from Florida has earned an ire of Trump and some of his supporters in the recent weeks for criticizing his handling of a call to a widow of a fallen soldier. The Chicago Tribune first reported that Tom Keevers was connected to the social media post, which called for 10 good men to carry out a lynching. This is 2017, right? I guess Tom Keever thinks this is 1952. Des Plaines Police Department captain, well, it was the captain. Okay. So, this captain told ABC News that, there's an investigation that they're turning over to the Capitol Police and FBI. The local police are no longer permitted to release any more details about the case. And it's amazing. Where's his picture? Why are they covering for this guy? That's why I can't stand America media, because they will cover for white supremacists. ABC News could not immediately reach Keever, but he spoke to the Chicago Tribune, apparently giving a shifting version of events. Unbelievable. At first, Keever told the outlet that an anonymous meme maker was responsible. He went on to say that an alleged lynching threat is not something that should be said, later adding that he cannot remember if he threatened to lynch Wilson. How do you not remember something like that? You see, this is nothing but a boatload of lies, y'all. He's just lying his ass off because he didn't think the authorities were going to come and start bearing down on his ass for what he did. Now he's got amnesia and can't remember nothing. But you know what? He put the meme out there. So, and his name is attached to the meme. So he can lie all he wants. Someone could have used some of the words he used and made them into a meme, he claims. So he's trying to distance himself from the meme. The image at the center of the thread appears as if it was a Facebook post with two lines of text: Keever's name, photo, location, and timestamp. So everything's pointing to him, but now he's trying to shift the blame somewhere else. The post reads, need 10 good men to help carry out a lynching. Must have own horse and saddle. Rope will be provided. A photo of Wilson is included below. And then you want to know why you get called devils. In the interview, the Chicago Tribune, Keevers reportedly said that, listen to this, y'all, it was a joke as I read it, and noted, I don't have 10 horses either. Carrying out, even making a threat of carrying out a lynching is not a joke. Nobody's laughing. Okay? And see, this is always their way out whenever they get busted. All of a sudden, it becomes a joke. That's played out. People ain't falling for that mess anymore. I was never falling for it. Okay? Because I know when you say these hateful things, you mean every word of it. You just wasn't expected to be called out, more or less than the authorities getting involved. So now listen to him trying to backpedal because he's a coward. That's what cowards do. ABC News reached out to Wilson's office for a comment. The Capitol Police told ABC that we do not comment on ongoing investigations. Facebook did not immediately return ABC News requests for comment. Well, did Facebook at least take his account down? You don't even hear anything about that. But Black people can go on Facebook and do far less and lose their page. You don't even have to threaten nobody's life and lose your page if you're Black. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play the video here.
Details about what those 4 U.S. Special Ops soldiers encountered during that deadly ambush in Niger. They were part of a larger team, and tonight we've learned they were on their way back to base when they were given a second mission to find a well-known al-Qaeda and ISIS operative. Those 4 American soldiers did not survive the attack, and tonight we still do not know whether they had body armor. What we do know is when the call for help was made and how long it took. In a rare moment today, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Joseph Dunford, coming before the cameras after the president today would not answer questions sent his way. ABC's Mary Bruce leading us off.
At the Pentagon late today, the Joint Chiefs of Staff offered the first official account of that deadly ambush in Niger, saying the intelligence they had did not indicate a significant threat.
The assessment by our leaders on the ground at that time was that contact with the enemy was unlikely.
But tonight, ABC News is learning much more about what really happened in the ambush that killed 4 American Special Ops soldiers and what their mission really was. It was October 3rd when 12 U.S. soldiers and 30 Nigerians set out on a reconnaissance mission to a remote village. But a senior intelligence official tells ABC News they were given a second mission, their new goal to kill or capture a high-value target. They were supposed to be joined by a second U.S. team that never made it, but they were told to proceed on their own. The official tells us that mission was unsuccessful, but exposed the Americans to the enemy. The next morning, the Americans are heading home when they sense something is off. A village elder is trying to stall them. Suddenly, 50 militants are upon them, armed with rocket-propelled grenades and heavy machine guns, a sophisticated attack. According to the Pentagon's account, 1 hour into the firefight, the Americans called for help.
My judgment would be that unit thought they could handle the situation without additional support.
A U.S. drone arrives within minutes, unarmed but able to provide video of the ambush. 30 minutes later, French military aircraft mobilized to help. 2 hours into the attack, those French planes arrive on the scene to provide cover. As night falls, 2 wounded U.S. troops are evacuated. So are the bodies of the 3 U.S. soldiers killed in action. But Sergeant LaDavid Johnson is still missing. His body would not be recovered for another 48 hours.
From the time the firefight was initiated until Sergeant Johnson's body was recovered, French, Nigerian, or U.S. forces remained in that area.
Congress wants answers, but some top lawmakers admit they didn't know U.S. troops were there.
I didn't know there was 1,000 troops in Niger.
The president has been taking credit for victories against ISIS.
I totally changed the attitudes of the military, and they have done a fantastic job. Yeah, ISIS is now giving up. They're giving up. They're raising their hands. They're walking off. Nobody's ever seen that before.
Why did that happen before?
Because you didn't have Trump as your president.
But the Pentagon today made clear who is responsible for the deaths of these 4 Americans.
So our initial assessment is these are local, tribal fighters that are associated with ISIS.
And Mary Bruce joins us live tonight from the Pentagon. And Mary, we know the chairman of the Joint Chiefs said today that they believed contact with the enemy was not likely. But Mary, we're learning from a senior intelligence official this was going to be a very high-stakes mission, that this team was on its way back to base and was told to turn around and was given a second mission to kill or capture a high-value individual.
Yes, and David, a senior official tells us that that high-value target was a known senior al-Qaeda or ISIS operative, and that they were told, quote, they had high confidence they knew where he was.
And Mary, one more question on this tonight. According to an American survivor of this attack in Niger, he's now described what Sergeant LaDavid Johnson did in those hours, calling him a war hero who gave everything he had in this fight.
Yes, and David, in fact, the survivor tells ABC News Sergeant LaDavid Johnson gave everything he had during this ambush, saying he died fighting for his brothers.
Yeah, and then what did his brothers do? They left him behind for 2 days. He got left behind, and he was found over 2 miles away from where the ambush happened. Okay, now what are our soldiers doing in Africa? 1,000 soldiers in Africa? You know, and number two, you can clearly see they were set up. You know, it was an old man there stalling them, and then all of a sudden, 50 people from the opposition showed up on the 4 of them. And then this idiot we have in office called a president is patting his damn self on the back. You know, he is always looking for credit everywhere, even where he don't deserve it. Please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I wish I could say I could believe the media, I can believe the what the government say, but they got such a lousy history. I can hardly believe anything they say when it comes down to this story. But tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. And if you can make a donation to my channel, please do. Peace, family.